like, how
Yeah.
could they? He's not making top three. He'll make top five. Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Ballin in Burgundy podcast. Yeah, I got myself, I got Chris, I got Justin, and we got our guy over to my right or on my left, actually this way, to my right on screen. If you guys know him on YouTube, the Burgundy and Gold Report. If you know him on Twitter, the Band G Report, or if you see him on our Instagram, Adam Aniba, who be doing a lot of player breakdown collabs with. Adam, what's going on?
Chilling, man. Just like we were talking, before we started recording. I think this is a really interesting draft, and I know every year, we say this, but like I said, with the positions of quarterback, receiver, even tackle, which these are the positions Washington needs. This is the year to have the extra early picks, which is what Washington has. So I think it's a good time to be a fan with new ownership and some grown-ups in the room making the picks. So looking forward to it.
Oh, it's a whole lot of fun. Free agency is we're well weekend, 12
Yeah.
days, and we've signed 13 guys, and we know a few of our free agents went. We'll get into that. We'll get into some Cam Curl talks. We'll get into some quarterback talks. But before we get into that, guys, I need y'all to two things. Like and subscribe here on BIB. Head over to Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Go follow us. All over the links will be down in the description. And then head over to the Burgundy and Gold Report Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and the website because he has a full ass website. It's better than us already. Go follow him, support him. He does amazing work throughout the year. Him and Big Doug Cray over during happy hour. Those are some amazing streams to tune into. You guys don't want to miss it, especially with this draft cycle, because this draft, you're saying it off stream, might be the most explosive and is exciting drafts in years, in the past 5, 6
Yeah,
years.
definitely.
It's crazy. But guys, like, subscribe, go follow us, go follow Adam. Let's get into this. Let's start over free agency real quick. We'll make this nice and easy. 13 signings, actually 14 signings, including a few guys coming back. From last episode, we covered some of this. We got Cornelius Lucas back. We got Jamison Crowder back. And then we learn where some of our guys go. Kendall Fuller goes to the Dolphins for a 2-year deal. Curtis Samuel for a 3-year, $30 million deal. Casey Tootle just signed with Bills Mafia. Antonio Gibson, our former running back, goes to the Patriots. And the big one, I think, was going to define our offseason, talking to some other fans and other creators, was Kamren Curl, our former safety, going to the Los Angeles Rams for a 2-year base $9 million deal. Reports are saying, coming out of Grant Paulson, Reedy, and Z, shout out to the fellas out there, that we didn't even offer Cam Curl a contract. I want to get y'all thoughts. Adam, I'll start with you and go around the room. What are your thoughts on the report saying we didn't offer an offer for Cam?
Well, yeah, I've been talking about this. It just comes down to the safety market got diluted, with the cuts and the people still available, honestly. So that really hurt the market for Curl. And I think it was more about like just see what you can get in the open market. So what it comes down to is go to the open market, you get a lot less, less than half that he was thinking he was going to get. You don't come back to the team and say, okay, you want to negotiate. So that was it. And I think that was just a case of, go test the waters. And when it comes down to a team that's really building themselves on analytics, we love Cam Curl, but no turnovers in years. So that's the kind of statistic that they don't want to see from their DBs. You want to see fumble recoveries, if not interceptions. Many more passes defended.
Yep.
It just wasn't there for him. He had the leadership. He used the chess piece to move around, but I think instead. We'll talk about the guys that they brought in, but I think that they have a clear plan. They already have guys that if we had to start the season today, your backfield, you've got your guys. How good do they be? I don't know. You still have to add, but losing him, I don't know if that they're going to see a dramatic, downtick in play because they were pretty bad last year.
Yeah. This was coming off of the Washington Post, so shout out Grant Paulson, and the Washington Post. They were saying the reason why is just because they thought Jeremy Chin was a better fit at box safety for the new scheme.
Right.
Although with Witt saying, doesn't matter if it's a 3-4, 4-3, scheme wise, no one runs a traditional anymore, which is true. No one is really saying, hey, 3 defensive linemen every single snap. But it's interesting saying, okay, we'll get a guy for 3 years to play at a better spot with a different scheme. Although I think Cam could have made it work. I do like Chin. I think just his injuries concerned me a little bit.
Right. And
Um,
that's why short-term deals. That's why, it was like low rate. Honestly, even the 3-year deals with some of these guys, they can get out of them, by
yeah,
year two. And the 1-year deals, look at him. I think there was 6 or 7 of the signings are 1-year deals. So,
yeah,
Dante Fowler, everyone's saying, why are you signing him? Because these guys know the system, like it's when you're trying to build chemistry, the more guys you can add young, we're not talking about over the hill 34, 35. You guys have some injury histories, things like that. But I wrote an article, prior to the night before of the tampering window. And, I had Chin and Armstrong because I just thought, of course, Armstrong is a guy. He's not going to return to Dallas. They don't have the money for him. It's not an issue if he's just not good enough for over the hill. And Jeremy Chin he made all the sense in the world. I evaluated him coming out. To me, he made sense back then. And Washington, one thing Quinn has talked about is that they're going to do a 3 safety look, not necessarily the exact same Buffalo nickel that we got used to with unimaginative with Del Rio. There's going to be a lot more moving pieces to that, but I don't think you're relying on Chin to come in. It's like, well, if he goes down, we're screwed for the rest of the year. I think you've got a group of safeties. Bringing back Reeves was smart. Your special team standout. But this is a draft where you do have multiple late day 2 pick, day 3 picks where you can upgrade that position. So
yep.
I think they've got a plan. It's just exactly it's a long game. It's not a short game.
Mm-mm. Justin, I'll go back to you and I'll just finish out with Chris. Justin, what was your thoughts? Just kind of hearing these rumors that we had just touched on.
I mean, new coaches that they want their guys. If they didn't feel Carl would fit their system, fit their scheme, what they wanted to build, I mean, I think it was smart. I mean, yeah, you could have franchise tagged them and try to trade them away for something, a bag of chips, a fifth, a fourth. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't think it fit, if he didn't fit your system, why resign him? I mean, yeah, Chen, high reward, great contract, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I think somebody's going to get drafted, day 2, day 3 in the
Mm,
draft. So we shall see.
yeah. Chris, we'll run this out. What are your kind of your thoughts being the younger of us four?
I had no idea that they didn't even offer him a contract. What I mean, what the hell? What is it? Like yo, I thought I heard rumors of like maybe extending him. What the what did we miss? Um, it hurts. It's gonna hurt. You watch. It's gonna hurt this upcoming season when we have to play teams like Cincinnati, who love the lawn ball. Love the lawn ball because I've seen it, a couple of games with Cincinnati, whenever they were playing the Chiefs on national television. It's gonna hurt in the not just the passing game, but the running game too when we have to play Baltimore, because who in the hell is gonna be able to tackle Lamar or Derrick Henry if they break loose? Like the secondary is gonna have trouble doing that. And it's gonna hurt. And I mean, Cam Curl was kind of like that guy that was kind of able to contain them a little bit, but like hurting him.
Hold up.
But yeah, I
Oh,
mean, it's gonna hurt. I mean, rolling into the season with Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin. I like them both. I do. They're just not, I think, replacements for Cam for a long time.
hmm
Yeah, Cam had no turnovers the last couple of years, but he was able to hold secondary together at least for somewhat, you know.
yeah. I think it also helped that he was there since what our 21's draft, so 3 years in this system. Guys know how he works. They trust him. I think that's wasn't he a captain his last season? Or am I
I
imagining
think he
things?
was. I think
Uh,
he was.
If I'm
I could
imagining
be.
things, it wouldn't be the first time. But I think on paper and like based on statistics, we were like, man, Cam Curl's this juggernaut at safety. He was the captain of this defense. I think he was a captain of the safety room, and you could feel it at times, but I don't think he was going to be like this field general safety, like an Ed Reed or maybe even a Sean Taylor when he was alive, or guys like that.
But
I don't.
see, you know, what's crazy is like, you know, I liked him at free safety too. So I'm a little perplexed how he didn't fit, you know, because but I think it just always came back to the money. And, you know,
Yeah.
like I've talked to his dad a few times on Twitter and stuff. They're a little boisterous, you know. He's a dispensary guy. That's what his dad does for a living. So he's very opinionated, whatever. And I do think that the families do hurt these situations. And I think that really, I personally think that probably washed in the wrong way, you know. And I think it was just like, go ahead. But yeah, I do think they're going to feel it, because I don't think, you know, any of these guys on the roster, unless you're even the guys early in the second round, because I don't see a first round safety worthy of the first round. Cameron Kitchens, Miami, I don't think he's better than Curl. So like, you're not replacing him. It's true. I agree. You're not replacing him this year, but you know, hopefully you can bring your guys as a collective and he can replace some of that, you know, grit that he brought to the field. But I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. I think this draft isn't the strongest as here, but there are guys I like. I like Tyler Nubin or Nubin out of Minnesota. If I say the name wrong, I apologize to those out there, Minnesota fans. I like James Williams out of Miami. I kind of skip over Kitchens because I think something just wasn't a big fan, so I skipped to James Williams. Trey Taylor out of Air Force. Just kind of
this
watching.
Kid Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. Check him out too. He's got some size. He's a little lean, but you know, 6'3", but you know, lean. I say lean, but he's 6'3", 212. So it's not like he's 6'3", 185 or anything. And he's extremely physical. Like that's a guy that with one of those third round picks, Washington could definitely consider someone like him, because I'm, you know, Derek Forrest, Butler, to me that they're up in the air. And honestly, with Jatavius Martin, I liked him coming like more of a nickelback. Like that's what I thought more he, you know, but I think he's more of a guy that they'll be able to move around. But yeah. They're far from, you know, finished with safety. Jeremy Chin is just it's a 1-year Band-Aid.
I mean, it's not a bad Band-Aid, but it is a 1-year Band-Aid.
No, I reckon he was one of the guys I wrote about that I hoped that they would get, because he makes total sense, because you can only do so much in free agency, and you see all these moves, and they're still right now, I think, 4th or 5th in the league with like over 50 million in cap remaining. So it's like they're not blowing. You know, if any of these guys fall flat, when this happened in the past, you know, they would be hamstrung, you know, but it's not going to do shit to them. So I like what they're doing.
Yeah, we still have like 53 mil, which is like top 5, which is great because we started with like 96. We still have half our money left. And like, it's like what, 15 mil goes to draft picks between 7 rounds, is like 6 mil, 3, like however they break it up. So let's say, so even let's say 35, that's still a good number this deep into free agency at this rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this one.
Answer me this though, right? We need corners, obviously. Right. I think we need corners.
Yeah, for sure.
Why not go sign Gilmore, Tre'Davious White, you know, for a 1 to 2 year deal?
That's probably what's going to happen. It's probably going to happen.
It might, but I mean, think about it. Gilmore has already played in that Dallas system when Dan Quinn was there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tre'Davious White didn't, but you know, if you get both of them, you know, White, you know, is going to be able to learn. You know,
they like these 2 guys that they just brought in. I don't know much about them, but they like them. They like their size. They like one of them's a former first round pick. So I hear they like them. So this is one of those things where, you know, scouts see something that we might not see. So it'll be interesting. But Gilmore, exactly. I could see getting closer to camp that, you know, he could be someone they bring, because he's also getting over surgery, I heard. But yeah, I could see them bringing in someone like him, because they, you know, especially when they get a closer look, like I could see with, you know, voluntary OTAs, when they really get a closer look of, you know, St. Juice, because he has the profile. He has the physical profile, the size of what Quinn likes and what he's in. But does he have what exactly he's looking for? And I think we'll see quickly. If they start having, tryouts, bringing more, they're going to be like, we don't like these corners. And Forbes, I personally, I think he just needs to be coached up. I think if he gets the right coaching, I think he can be a number one corner, maybe in 2 years or less, hopefully. But you don't have much behind that, so they have to the draft. They're going to be there. There's a couple guys that'll be in that second, third round range that are difference makers.
Yeah,
If not, you could still do a trade for like Sneed. Sneed's still available.
Sneed
Titans
is one.
were talking with him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is Greg Newcomb. Is it?
Greg
Yeah.
Newsome out of Cleveland. Yeah,
If
that's
he's available.
that's the big one. That guys like Josh Taylor. Shout out to Josh, our guy. He was saying that he's got connections in Cleveland. They were saying he was here in trade talks. And I'm like, that's going to cost us a minimum of a third, I think. If we were to trade, because you'd have to trade for Newsome and then still pay him. I think he's on his third or fourth year of his deal. I don't know if it's a fifth year option or not.
No, I think he was a second round or third round. I don't think he was a first round because I evaluated him. I just forgot what round he went in. But no, he's a good one too. But yeah, we'll see. There's still a lot of time, and I do think I've spoken to a lot of people too. I do think Washington is going to make a trade. It's going to be like but is it going to be a tackle? Because Lucas is a guy you brought back. I love the swing tackle guy. But do you go into the draft and hope to get your left tackle of the future? And I think that's why I've been saying for a while now, ever since the Chicago trade, that I think now you're going to see them have the possibility to move back up in the first round, just like the Haskins Sweat draft. I think it's a similar situation with the back end of that first round with, tackles going quickly, that you definitely can see Washington do that and exactly getting that fifth year option. That's one thing, the guys I know that are scouts, that talk to the NFL guys every day. They're like, that is so key for them, finding these guys that fit their profile, but getting that fifth year option. That because you have the fifth year option, then you have the franchise tag. That's 2 extra years, or then another franchise tag. It's 3 years under the collective bargaining agreement right now. That 3 extra years by moving it from a second round to the first round. That's why I'm shocked. I'll be shocked if Washington doesn't move up, because you have all those thirds in the second. They could do that with their second and thirds and still have a pick in the second round. So I don't see that they don't do it,
Yeah, I think teams like Detroit, Baltimore, and Niners would be what ideal. So 28, 29, and 30. I don't think we go up as far as 25, which is
probably not.
Which is the Dallas territory, because first of all, that's trading with division rivals. But I think Dallas could get someone like a JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson. I love him as a center. He's my center number 1 behind Frazier. What is everyone else's too. I'm not making breaking news. But I think if you go to 29 and Jordan Morgan's still on the board,
right?
That's a name. Get him right there. He's my tackle 5, but really tackle 1 after after pick 25, because Olu, Talise, Troy Fatanu, who I think will go to guard. And Joel will all be gone by then. Yeah.
And Mims is another one to keep an eye on, because people I've talked to, big time Georgia guys, because my co-host Doug McRae is a big time Georgia guy too. So he talks to all the Georgia people, and he can definitely play left tackle. He's not just right tackle. People penciled him in right tackle. Extremely athletic. So that's another name. So that's why I think that there's going to be a run, and you're talking about exactly between that 25 to 30 range. I think you'll see, 2 or 3 tackles go. And the kid out of Arizona, Morgan, he's definitely one that, I think you can bring in right away and, probably get some early time from him, because he's very, very high IQ. I'm actually watching this film right now. High IQ guy, not every left tackle, is extremely intelligent. Like, this is one of those guys that's an anchor that, you really want to have. So he's just one of many of them, to Tyler Guyton, another one out of Oklahoma. He'll probably be there too, and if somehow it doesn't work out, Paul from Houston is another guy that I really like too. Left tackle. Yeah, his brother actually is on Washington's roster right now.
Right, Chris Paul.
I'd rather not get to that point. I'd rather that be a second tackle that they get. But yeah, no, I think there has to be a plan. You don't let go of Leno. You don't do all this free agent signing and only bring in Lucas as your tackle. Right. So I definitely, that's one thing I have faith in right now. I have faith that they're going to get a quarterback at 2, and that they're going to get their tackle with, the second pick.
Yeah,
I do.
My thing about and then I'll wrap this segment up and move on to the next one is if they can't get Jordan Morgan, guys I like is BYU's Kingsley Sunamateo.
Yeah.
Sunamateo. I think I said that name wrong, and again I apologize. And then the Kieran fella out of Yale, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Shocking news. I like offensive tackles, and I build like one. But
I know
like
I've
him.
never watched so much offensive tackle film this draft, because that'll probably end up being a third of my evaluations. But like exactly, like it starts to speed up though. That's the thing. When you really start watching offensive tackles, it starts to speed up because you start seeing the same things or the same mistakes. And that's really cool about this draft.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great draft. But speaking of draft, I'll move on to this next segment, and then we can start wrapping things up. So I don't want to say press on time, but I want to keep it within a nice schedule. The other thing that gets, as I posted on BIB story, if you guys follow us, first of all, you should Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Shameless plug. But I was saying that everyone got their panties in a twist, got their knots tied, and their brains crossed. That we decided to have dinner tomorrow night, being Thursday. We record this Wednesday, so later tonight, with in Ann Arbor, Michigan, with top 5 quarterback going to this draft, national champion JJ McCarthy, who I don't think he'll be a top 3 pick unless New England really does not like who they have at 3 and they trade back. But I can understand why people are saying he should not be a top 2 consideration, but I don't know what the big deal is saying he doesn't deserve to go first round. He's not a top 5 QB prospect, although I think Jordan Travis, Joe Milton guys a little bit better arm wise. But I just want to get y'all's thoughts on why there's so much animosity towards the kid, because he had actually a good season with a loaded Michigan team. Blake Corum, Roman Wilson, Loveland at tight end, AJ Barner at tight end, Donovan Wilson at like a great team around him, and he still produced well. I'm curious what y'all's thoughts why there's so much animosity.
We were talking, like I said to you before we started, we had Thor Nystrom on our show today, and we were asking him exactly that, because he's a Minnesota fan, and he's a guy that he thinks that they're going to trade up with, maybe New England, and McCarthy will be the 3rd quarterback taken. I think it has to do with the players around him. Pro style offense, Harbaugh, we see him with the Chargers now. I think, people drop him down for that. When you have Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May, the big time throws you see in the YouTube highlights, that gets everybody really caught up. But the true evaluators and, the people that are watching the film with the NFL, the scouts, they're seeing all the details. And again, I was telling you about getting all the information we don't see. Like, he's one of the best, as high as 77% when he's throwing on the run. Like, you don't think that with him, because first thing I thought when I came into the show today is I'm like, well, I saw a stat that where 8 games, he only had 15 attempts in eight games. I'm like, well, how can you get much evaluation out of that? Well, that's where you have to dig deep. And if he's the kind of guy that can come in, run your concepts, how much did he have to digest under Harbaugh? Because, one thing we saw, Harbaugh was in the NFL, what he did with Kaepernick, what he did with other quarterbacks, so he can do it. So I think that once, especially fans fall in love with a quarterback, they put down all the other quarterbacks. They find all these problems with him. But the bottom line is what I'm telling you through this whole process is the more film I'm watching, the more I learn, more research I do, is this is a good quarterback draft. Of course, the numbers tell us that, out of these 4 we're talking about, half of them will bust, but not necessarily. You have to go back a long time with the Eli Manning, Roethlisberger draft, where there was, guys that had a lot of success. So I do see that as one of the drafts. And so I think the easy thing for people to do is, knock down someone like McCarthy, who just doesn't have, especially the gaudy numbers like the others do. So there is a lot of projection involved. But, one thing I'm seeing is there's some quarterback needy teams. I think Minnesota made their move to get that extra 1st round pick.
Yep.
And I think, the common opinion that's been for a while is it's going to be, Caleb Williams and then either Daniels or May, whatever order, and then McCarthy after that. But, I think that McCarthy could be the guy that leapfrogs. So whoever doesn't go at 2nd, I think New England is a great spot where the Vikings are going to probably trade up. But I think exactly, it just comes down to people trying to put up the guy that they like. But the more I see with McCarthy, the more there is to like, especially on the next level, because you're talking about what system did he play and what did he do. Yes, he had a good running game. Yes, he had a good blocking scheme. But in the right situation, he could get that in the NFL. So
yeah. Chris, I'll go with you next because obviously I don't know how much you watched Michigan, but I just want to kind of get your take on the animosity and the hate because I had to put it eloquently. I want to get your take on it.
Let's see. Well, I didn't watch Michigan all that much. I didn't even watch them in the playoffs because I don't watch college like that.
Oh.
But you brought it up earlier, though. You said a key word, or two keywords. Loaded offense. Loaded offense. To top it off, he had one of the best coaches I've ever seen, not just in the NFL, but in college too. That being the coach I was hoping we hired at the beginning of the offseason, Jim Harbaugh. And the reason I say that is because Jim's a good coach. Anyways, getting back to the point. JJ McCarthy had a loaded team with him. You don't get that in the NFL. I mean, hell, look at the Chiefs. Chiefs didn't even have a loaded team. And, yeah, they had Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. But, I mean, those are just two guys right there.
That's all you need, apparently.
Yeah, and that's all you need. Yeah. But college and the NFL are two different levels.
Yep.
That's why, when people say, oh, college and the NFL should have the same rules. No, they shouldn't, because college players need to learn how to develop in the NFL even without that loaded team. And if we are being real, which I am, yes, some colleges have good defenses. Some. Most? No, they don't. And that's why most of these quarterbacks in college pass for high passing yards, high passing touchdowns, low interceptions, everything like that. It's because they kind of have no defense in in college. I mean, yeah, there's been some high, scouted, college players, like Ray Lewis, Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, all those guys.
Yep.
But I mean, other than that, not necessarily. I mean, in the NFL, you actually have to learn what defenses are. College, right. You really don't, to be honest. You literally just have to put up the a good amount of points, to get into a playoff format system. I mean, that's what college is, and that's why you see all the high scores like 73 to 69, 80 to 73, stuff like that.
Or if you're Georgia FSU, like 73-3. That was beautiful to watch that. But yeah, that was hilarious. Justin, I want to get your quick thoughts too. Just kind of see how you feel being you played football in high school.
Talking about how I feel about Michigan.
Yeah, how you feel about JJ McCarthy getting the disrespect?
I mean, what you should be no disrespecting anybody. I mean, hell, Tom Brady got picked round 6,
199.
I'm not saying JJ's the next Tom Brady, but don't disrespect people because that person you disrespected, like he could turn out to be a star. I mean, you see Brock Purdy with the Niners, the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's ahead. Like it's just to me, it's they're doing their due diligence. But if they really do like JJ, you might as well take him. I mean, that's my thing. If you think he's going to fit your system, think he's going to fit your scheme, think he's going to be a good leader, you think he's solid enough, you have to take him. I mean, yeah, it's us and Giants who flew him out for dinner, if I remember correctly. But Michigan was a stacked team, offense and defense.
Mm.
I mean, he did have a loaded team on the offensive side and defensive side.
Yeah.
I mean, he does need to be coached right if somebody does take JJ. I mean, he will be taken, but somebody has to coach him right and give him a team around him.
Yep.
He can't go to, a team like the Giants who doesn't have many weapons at receiver or tight end. He
Or
has to be
running
at a
back
good
now.
or running back now, exactly. He has to be at a good position.
Yeah.
And have weapons. But would I be okay with it? Yeah, because I have faith in what the team's going to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Hey, all I know is if we take JJ at 2, the streets are gonna riot. That's all I know. The streets are gonna be on fire.
The DMV will riot if you take JJ McCarthy at 2.
listen, we're not Philly fans. We don't burn our city down like Philly.
True. True.
We have
But
class. We have class.
Look, we are Washington fans, and you know how some of us are. I mean, hell, look at last year in the first round when we took Emmanuel Forbes. People were like, half of us were like, okay, that's not a bad pick. The other half wanted to like riot the streets, man. Like,
man, we were hot on that street. We were hot.
Bro.
We were hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll keep this short and then we'll wrap things up. I don't think JJ gets the respect he's earned because I don't think that everyone deserves. I don't think you deserve respect. You have to earn it. But I think he has earned respect as a quality quarterback from college who will make the transition to pros depending on the offense and the coach. I think he goes like Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings. He will be coached properly because Kirk Cousins was playing MVP football the past 2 seasons before his injury. There, I said it. Kirk Cousins is MVP for me. But if you go somewhere like the Giants. Kirk Thuggins. But if he goes to the Giants, different story, right? Yes, he made Josh Allen look great. Daniel Jones is your quarterback one. Sorry about it. I don't like that for Brian Daboll, but it is what it is. With that being said, Adam, can't thank you enough for coming on, spending some time with us, kind of covering the draft as great as you do, and I can't wait to keep doing more of these prospect breakdowns as they come out through the week and throughout the months.
Always a pleasure. Just thanks for having me on. Always great talking to you guys. Just check out the content, the Burgundy, and go to port.com.
Absolutely. All links will be down in the description. His Twitter, Instagram, website, all the links will be down in the description. Go follow us over there. Go follow him over there. Or if you don't see him in the link, head over to our Instagram. Go see any of the prospect breakdowns, and he is the collaborator on those posts. Again, subscribe here on BIB. Head over to our Instagram, Twitter, and our TikTok. So we'll have content coming out throughout the weeks, throughout the months, throughout the years, as long as we stay active. We're just trying to get our numbers up there. Like I said, subscribe to us. Just go subscribe to the Burgundy Goal Report with him and Doug Craig because they got amazing content over there, and I cannot wait for more. Tune in for more content, guys, because we are planning to go live April 25th for the first round of the NFL draft. That is our current plans, like we did last year. You're gonna want to stay tuned for that and hit the notification bell every time that we upload. It's been a pleasure having Adam on once again, and can't wait to have him on next time. Keep talking. From all of us out to you guys, hail those Commanders, and don't forget to stay ballin'. We'll see y'all out there.